Hello,
Got
everyone. Welcome to Wake Up or Die podcast. I'm so excited. My name is Ashley Jackson. I am your host, and today we have Amy with us. And I'm going to let Amy introduce herself because people know themselves best. So tell us, Amy, what's up and how are you doing? Where are you at?
I'm Amy. I am so excited to be on here with you, Ashley. And a little bit about me. I'm down here in St. George, Utah. And what about me? If I introduce myself, I would be like, I am really great at having fun, at holding containers for people through breath work, through retreats, events, different healing modalities. I'm a mom of three little babies, and well, they're not babies anymore, they're grown up.
How old are they?
um, I have a 6-year-old girl, a 9-year-old girl, and a 12-year-old boy.
And what are their
They're
names?
really at
Cute.
fun ages.
That's really
Jackson's
fun.
12, Adeline's 9, and Olivia is 6.
Cute. Two A's and a Jackson. My last name's Jackson. So I'm like, oh, you named him after me. Thank you. Um, I love that story. Okay. I met Amy because I went to one of her breathwork experiences and I was like, whoa, this girl has a gift. And so I brought her on today because I know that we're always continually working through our own stuff. And I know this because I'm continually working through mine. In fact, today I had a really interesting experience, and I'll share that in a minute. But um, what I know is Amy is able to hold space. And if you're able to hold space for other people, then you're able to do live transformation work, I would call it. And with that comes a death of the old self kind of in real time. And this happened to me while I was at your breathwork clinic. And so I was able to say, like, whoa, she has this gift. Like, she held the space for me to get rid of things that I didn't want anymore. I'd never done breath work that way. I've done a lot of different breath work. And so I was very drawn to the idea that you could share with people what they need to know about death. And so, first question, I just want to just be like, what do you know about the death process and how has it worked for you most recently?
Oh, it's so interesting that you bring up the death process because it's actually something that has been um, alive for me. Funny, that paradox has been really alive for me because I feel like that we talk about ego deaths and what is an ego death, and it's I see it almost as a like a completion, not necessarily like a shedding, because it's not something that I want to release or let go of because it's all a part of me. But it's like there's parts of me that have reached completion and um, they've come to their death. And so it's honoring the death process, not as a negative thing, but actually a really beautiful process because that's where the rebirth comes. That's where we get to birth the most beautiful things. And so I used to be scared of the ego deaths. They were dark nights of the soul. I feel like at this point in time, I feel like I'm going through them daily.
Well,
And I
okay.
and, and I have, but like little
I feel
mini
this
deaths.
too. Yeah.
And it's recognizing old programs that are still running. It's recognizing behaviors that once they get brought to awareness, it feels like that they have reached their completion. And then,
You were telling me about death. It's okay. This is really interesting because what happens on calls is it's really cool to see how people connect, right? So I had you fill out something and you sent it to me, and it was really fun because I'm curious when you had your first experience with death. What did that look like? And was it plant medicine? I know that you have done plant medicine. I know you're experienced in Hape. I know that you have other plant medicine journeys too. But what was your actual first experience where you were like, I'm having a death, but I'm not going to die? Or did you think you were going to die?
my first, I think the awareness that I was having a death was with plant medicine because I truly, Ashley, believed that I was going to die. Like there was this point where it was like, I told you a little bit about it the other day, but I think the most profound one for me was it was wake up or die. And it was just this resounding voice that kept happening inside of me. It was like, wake up or die. Then it would say, go home or die, wake up or die. And I thought I was going to die. Like I thought my actual physical vessel, this 3D avatar body, was going to completely die. And with that, I realized that I had to feel that, because that was like, I was overcome with so much fear.
Mm.
And it was like I had to completely surrender to the moment and let myself die, even if that meant I died.
Yeah.
And that was like probably the biggest death that I had. And it was a wrestle, it was a struggle, and it was scary. And finally, it was like, okay, then I can die. Like I can surrender and fully die and let go of the control that it needs to be anything different than it is. And that medicine journey it was the most eye-opening. It was also the most difficult wrestle that I have had.
And let's just talk about, I'm going to, because some of our audience probably hasn't done medicine or might have done medicine. So how long ago was this journey for you?
So this specific journey was about 2.5 years ago.
Okay. And when did you do medicine first?
My first experience with medicine, a little background, I grew up LDS.
Ooh.
And I didn't,
surprise, St. George.
Right. And so I didn't partake of any substances. I wasn't drinking coffee. Like I was very much living the word of wisdom. And
okay, wait, what's the word of wisdom? Wait.
Oh, so the word of wisdom is a list of commandments. I don't know how to say it.
Suggestions that are suggested, and if you don't, then you're guilty and shameful.
Yeah, exactly. Like don't drink coffee. There's a whole list of them. It's a little wild. But I went from nothing, like not partaking of substances, and then feeling called to ayahuasca. So my first dive in with plant medicine was a cup of ayahuasca. And that was in the spring of 2019.
Very recent.
Yeah. What, 2009 or 8? Yeah. 2019. It was 2019.
And so since then you've tried things like psilocybin, right? Mushrooms. Yep. And you've done those in tinctures or in capsules?
In capsules.
Capsules.
Or just chew them up.
Yeah.
In the tea.
Mm-hmm. And what other medicine?
I have worked with, I love working with hape, the sacred tobacco from the Amazon. And I don't know if that's considered a plant medicine. It's not a psychedelic. And
considered plant medicine.
Yeah. And then I've done a ketamine journey, which is not plant medicine, but that was an interesting journey. I have worked with heart openers. So, it's a white lily sassafras mixture. It's very similar to an MDMA. And I have done some cactus. What's it called? Not peyote, but San Pedro.
San Pedro. Yeah, or Wachuma, I think, is like.
Wachuma. Yeah, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Wachuma, which you can buy at Home Depot and grow in your backyard if you wanted to know that. I know a lot about this, actually. My friend Nicole, who I cannot wait for you to meet, holy Hannah, she lives in Salt Lake and she runs this thing called the Goddess Collective.
I think I know Nicole.
You do.
Yeah, she held space for my first ayahuasca ceremony.
Yeah, she's beautiful. So yes, the good news is, so the ketamine journey, I want to go back a little bit. This is really curious because I don't know anybody who's actually done the ketamine journey. So tell me about your experience with ketamine.
I want to be careful because I want to honor those who do ketamine, and like I really think it's a beautiful process for people. Um, it it felt not as natural as a psilocybin, and um, it was, I don't know, I feel so much more called to the plants. That's the easy way to say it. I didn't feel like home with it.
Yeah, that's okay. Like, so I
Yeah.
believe that something works for everyone, right? And your experience is really profound for someone else that's going through this that says, should I choose plants or should I choose ketamine? Well, here's a person who's had both, and all you can do in life is compare things in order to get a good estimate of how you want to go forward.
Right.
I healed myself several times from several different strange things. And even right now, I have a process going on that I'm going to share with you that's crazy. So there's this colloidal silver from St. George. Have you seen
Nano silver. Oh, I've got
it?
some right.
Yeah, I have some right here. I started taking it a couple days ago because I realized that I have a parasite like a worm and I'm like there's worms coming out of me and I know that sounds so gross and so weird but like Amy I was like oh my gosh this is so perfect for wake up or die today
Yeah.
because how many people are not feeling well and they don't know how to get rid of what's going on. They don't even know how to identify where it's at.
Yeah. That's so fascinating that you are passing parasites. So all like three of my closest friends are doing a parasite cleanse right now. Yeah, the nano silver. That's the best kind. Yep.
And they just like spray it like in my mouth like or put it under my tongue.
Oh, yeah, just spray it. You can even pour some to the back of your throat and then just hold it in the back of your throat. I use it with my kids consistently. It gets rid of their sore throats. I put it in my ear. It gets rid of my eye infections. It is the holy grail to a lot of things. It's like I can't not live with it. I have it in my truck. I have it in my bathroom. I have like 6 of them that I can always have access to.
This is so interesting, huh? So my intuition led me to this. I'm in Cody, Wyoming, of all places. How would you get this here? Not sure. And I was driving around and my intuition told me to go to McDonald's because that's like sometimes your intuition will tell you to go do something so that you can see something else. Because I wouldn't know where to go. So because I have like this my scalp, it seems like psoriasis. And everything that I look up and read and like learn about intuitively too is like there's something in my body, in my internal organs doing this to my scalp. So anyway, I started spraying it on and it's like immediately going away. And then I started taking it internally, started fasting parasites. This is all 24 hours, 36 hours.
That's amazing. And we pass parasites over the full moon. And yesterday was the full moon. So of
Oh,
course. Yeah.
hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Spraying on my face, saying it's so good for you.
Oh,
I met a man one time at a store, and I always ask people when I go into stores, I say, what's, especially health food stores, like, what's the thing that I need to know about that I don't know about? Like, tell me, because usually someone that works there knows. And he's like, you need to put colloidal silver on your face every day. I'm like, wasn't that turn you purple? My misinformation of the world. And he's like, no, he's like, it will make you younger. And I definitely feel like it's not a lie. So
it's
finding
not.
it again.
And the nice thing about that one specifically, it's a nano silver. So the colloidal silver, I don't know the science behind it, but it's better than the colloidal silver.
Right. The uptake is way better. And it says, like, it tells you when you read it, it says silver will remove over 600 known bacteria, viruses, and yeasts. There are literally thousands of essential uses for this powerful non toxic healing agent. So this is not a commercial, obviously, but this is interesting, right? I feel like they're going to definitely maybe be on our list of things we give away for this podcast because this is magic, right? Waking up or dying requires figuring out like how to live fully. And that means you want to be feeling well more often than not. And so today, this is where we're going, right? It's like, how can I help you feel well, Amy? Because Amy and I are committed to doing this podcast over the next months, weeks, and years regularly to make sure, probably daily, to make sure that we are not only having a conversation that can be looked at and used as a model, but also feeling well more often than not. And it's always fun to talk to someone who can hold space for you to feel well.
And I love that, Ash. Like, I love what you're saying about feeling well, because there's one thing that I'm really passionate about after the last couple of years of going down this healing journey and um, what they call the 5D realm, playing in all of these different realms, doing the plant medicines. is it's I feels like I've gone full circle, and it's brought me back to being in the body. Like, we are here on earth to be in this human body, in this time and space. And so I'm a huge advocate of embodiment, of coming back to feeling well in the body, to having the self-awareness in the body, instead of always closing our eyes and meditating or leaving. We've done that. We are infinite beings. We've been all the things, but we get to be human right now. And so it's like, I'm so passionate about helping people feel well physically while being aware and in their body, and living here and now, like being here now. And so I love the topic of feeling well, even all the way down to the nano silver and how it can help us feel well, because all the things matter: the nutrition, the nervous system, all of it.
So if there was a place that you weren't feeling well, where would it be right now?
Right now, in my heart.
In your heart. And so what does it feel like? What does it feel like?
Heavy.
Heavy. And what color is it?
A dark gray.
What shape is it?
Sludgy.
Sludgy, kind of like, does it have boundaries? Is it three-dimensional or is it flat? Flat.
It's flat, and it has no boundaries. It's leaky.
Ooh, leaky. Okay. Well, okay, because so we're not going to feel so good for a minute. Sometimes when you go into it, you got to go into it to get out of it, or just acknowledge it. So it's like, okay, you see this heavy, dark gray, flat, leaky thing on your heart. And is it moving?
Slowly, like black tar.
Okay. Like black tar.
Roll.
Like a slow roll. Okay. So first, I think we're going to make it roll faster is probably the thing to do, because we got to have some movement, and we're already in the momentum of the flow. So if you're willing to, you can imagine yourself making it roll, kind of like you're almost going to get nauseous, want to throw up, like you're on the top of the roller coaster a little bit, and it's going to kind of turn more dark, and then it's going to start to get really, really red, and it's going to start to kind of throb instead of whatever it was doing. And so it's like a red throbbing thing, and it's going to make you kind of want to throw up right now, and that's okay. And we're going to move it outside of your body. And so I want you to imagine that it's outside of your body in front of you, and it's rolling, and you're watching it. And I just want you to take a big deep breath. Yeah. Just trying to take a big deep breath, because we're just going to move some energy around, and that's all good. It's going to feel kind of interesting and weird. And so as we move it around, we're going to just allow it to be in front of us, and we're going to look at it. And the place that it left from in our heart, we're going to fill with pure white light. And we're going to see the light coming in through our head. And we're going to see this big red thing in front of us doing this like round rolling, kind of like a tornado, but like a windstorm tornado. I don't even know how to explain it. I just know that it's kind of like moving in like a rolling thunder pattern. And suddenly it starts to look and sound like thunder, except for it's like pink thunderclouds, and it starts to kind of get sparkly and pink. And we're going to keep it in front of us. So like cotton candy pink, sparkly clouds in front of us. Okay. We're going to take a big deep breath. And we're going to move these cotton candy clouds into the sky. And we're going to see that some of them kind of come apart, and there's gray that comes off of them, and it floats away into the sky. And then you're left with a really beautiful pink sunset of really beautiful clouds. Have you ever seen a pink sunset?
Last night.
Yeah, no, really pink. Yeah. So a pink sunset of clouds. And we're just going to take a big deep breath, and then we're going to relax. And then I'm so excited, because you're going to hold on just one second for me. And you're going to sit on the edge of anything that sounds like it might not be who you are. And you're going to tap. Have you ever tapped with two fingers on your third eye like this? So we're going to tap for a second. And so up until now, you're going to repeat after me. Up until now.
Up until now,
I've allowed myself
I've allowed myself
to feel
to feel
heavy
heavy
and hurt.
and hurt.
And I'm letting that go
And I'm letting that go.
right now.
What
And
was
I'm
that?
willing to let that go.
I'm willing to let that go.
And it's exciting to let things go
And it's exciting to let things go
because I know it makes space
because I know it makes space
for new things,
for new things,
even though
even though
up until now,
up until now,
I've allowed myself
I've allowed myself
to feel guilty and shameful.
to feel guilty and shameful.
I'm willing to let go.
And I'm willing to let go.
I'm willing to feel free.
And I'm willing to feel free.
Take a deep breath and stop tapping. And take a deep breath and hold it in. Hold it in as long as you can. Then breathe out whenever you're ready. So, what's interesting about heart stuff is that it's really easy to feel when it moves because we are love, like we're pure love. And so when there's something over it, it's really easy to know. And then it's really easy to feel when it moves. Like you can, it's like actually tangible.
Yeah.
It was like, it's like a crane. So tell me about your experience.
Um, it's interesting because when you asked um, where do I not feel well, I could feel like a heaviness in my chest, and then I was able to just like whoop. And right now, when I just checked back in, it just feels light, feels like like feathery in my chest instead of rocks. And so, and then at the very end, when it's like, and I'm free, you know, those moments when all of a sudden you just like drop into alignment and things just feel like, oh, this is where I am. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's just like that gratitude flow that hit me right in that moment when I said, and I'm free.
Yeah. Liberty. Liberation is a form of action that's momentum to get to freedom.
Yeah.
And the act of liberation is like something that we've talked about in our culture for so long, but we don't understand it very well.
Right.
And it's because it's liberating yourself from your own I know, which is so,
I know. Yes, Ashley. Yeah.
it's so powerful. Like there is an art to being creative enough to be able to help yourself and help other people and do it in a way that feels well more often than not. I grew up in a very dysfunctional household.
Mm-hmm.
Like people yelled a lot to get what they wanted. It took me a long time to understand tone and how it actually affects people.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me or explain to me how your breath work process works now for people that have never done breath work and are interested in that.
Yes. So there's many different types of breath work, and there's not just one type of breath work that's going to work. Oh, hold on. I have someone entering. Hold on. Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. You're totally fine.
My human enters before. It's all good. Like they'll cut it. It will just take them longer. Yeah. It's fine. It's okay. It's so crazy to break the channel. So I've already broken the channel with you a few times when we were at the places. Like we were able to like maintain because that's how I knew we could do this. Because I would never go at this blindly if I didn't know somebody. But like, yeah. So now you're feeling and seeing and breathing and having fun. And you're going to explain to me the types of breath work and how there's not one type that works for all the people.
Yeah, there's not one type that works for every situation. So specifically what I have specialized in is a somatic release breath work. And so the process goes where I invite you to activate a pretty quick paced, active breathing pattern. It's called a holotropic breathing pattern. And essentially what it's doing is over oxygenating the body and taking us to a sympathetic state. So our nervous system, it's fight, flight, or freeze. And we are activating the nervous system to a place where we can have a release. So we're putting things into motion. That's what we're doing, is we're just using our breath to put things into motion. Our issues are in our tissues. Our trauma resides in the body. Our body keeps the score. And so we're using the breath as a tool, like a broom, to go in and start to sweep stuff up, start to get it moving. And like you said, when you were talking about sometimes, like with my heart, that I might feel nauseous. I might feel, feel the heaviness of it. It's because I'm getting that in motion in my body. And so it's uncomfortable. And so the beginning of the breath work is uncomfortable because we're stirring the shit up. And so I guide you through a process. It's a mixture of breath work with guided hypnosis questions. And so I'm also asking you questions of, what do you want to release? Where are you holding yourself back? Where are you playing small? Where have you stayed silent? And where are you angry? Where's the deep grief and sadness in your body? Can you feel it? Is it in your feet? Is it in your legs? Can you use your breath to start to sweep it up and get it into movement? Because if it's stuck, the opposite of it is it needs to move. And so we use that breath to move it. And then the second half, and we call that the weeding. Imagine your body's a garden. We're weeding it. And we're clearing and creating space. And then the second half is we drop you back down into a parasympathetic state. And then we are a garden. We get to seed it. What do we want to create? Like, we just cleared a bunch of space within our body. We moved a lot of energy. And so you had me fill my heart with that white light. And so through the breathwork process, when we've cleared it all, what do you want to fill it with? Gratitude, joy. And then we start to call in and envision who it is you want to become, what you want to embody, what it looks like for you to live out loud and share your message and your love with the world, and really start to see it and anchor it in those spaces in the body. And so that's the process of the breath work. It's the weeding and then the seeding and coming home to you, calling all parts of you back home. And when I say all parts of you, like trauma is us fractioned. And so we are fraction parts. And so it's bringing us back to that wholeness and remembering that we are whole.
Yeah, I love that. I loved the analogy that you gave when you did the breath work about how we're all a cup, a very clear glass of water, and all of our trauma settles to the bottom of the glass. And so it looks clear on the top. And then there's all this trauma. And then when you start to do the breathing, it's like shaking it up like this, and it makes it all different colors. And then you can clarify it by filling your cup so much that all of it comes out and it fills up with water, was what I saw. Right? I don't know if you said that part, but that was what I saw. I was like, oh, I can just fill my cup after I've stirred it all up. Because not even filling the cup while it's still down here won't work, because only part of it will come out, if you try to do hot cocoa wrong. So it's right. It's okay, there's a science to it. And the science is proven because it works. That's how it works. I mean, there's not really a way to do it other than to experience it. So
yeah.
I also think it's really interesting to think about the idea that you said, how you're weeding it and then you're seeding it, right? So as you're planting the seeds while you're doing the breath work, people have different kinds of experiences. I've seen people, people, sometimes they cry, sometimes they scream, sometimes they laugh. I've laughed till I peed my pants almost. I've cried, I've screamed for sure. That's all normal. And that's natural. And that's part of the thing that's been locked up in your tissues that is healthy to release. So in the future, I think we'll get a breath work class together somewhere in the vicinity. And if you're watching this and you want to do the breath work, you can email the Wake Up or Die podcast and we can get in touch with Amy. Where else can they find you, Amy?
So, right now, most of my stuff that like I've been doing local stuff. And so it's just been on Instagram, holding women's circles, different events and retreats locally. But you can email me or you can find me on Instagram. And we can also do, like, if you're not local, we can do Zoom calls. We can do one-on-one sessions over a Zoom.
Okay, perfect. So I'll put your information for them below, but we're going to end this podcast for right now just because we're going to run out of time too.